Hey, right? Can we please talk about one Night Kwa Mxolisi? Okay. I'm trying to collect my thoughts, but they're not collecting. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Where do I start? Okay, so one Night Kwa Mxolisi felt like a reset button for everyone. It felt like a reset button for the relationships. It felt like a reset button for the friend group as a whole. You know, Bonk and Dzedze, they were just, okay, not all of them, because Cardi didn't have any baggage, but everyone else had no deadlock. Cardi and Anthony had no baggage. Temba, Brian, Mxolisi, Lerato, Funi are the ones. The married couples are the one with the baggage. So as I was saying, one Night Kwa Mxolisi felt like a reset for the friend group. It felt like a reset for Lerato and Mxolisi. It felt like a reset for Funi and Brian. It felt like a reset for Funi and Anthony. It felt like a reset for Temba and Mxolisi. It felt like a reset for Anthony and Brian. And since we're on the topic of Anthony, Brian, and Funi, can we talk about how completely insane it is to hide your friend's child from your friend? I don't care how immature you think your friend is. I don't care how unprepared you think he is to be a father. Why would you, for 10 years, why would you hide your friend's child from your friend for 10 years? Basically robbing your friend the opportunity to raise their child, the opportunity to be a father, the opportunity to step up, the opportunity to decide for himself whether or not he wants to be in this child's life. You never gave him that opportunity. You decided for him. How dare you? How dare you? How did they? How did... I was hot. We were shushu when that realization came on. When Anthony stormed out, I was like, yeah, storm out. If I was there, if I was his girlfriend, then I would be like, we're suing them. Caught now. Can you believe it? Why would you do that? If someone took my child from me, if someone took away the opportunity for me to decide for myself whether or not I want to raise this child, if someone who calls themselves my friend, I saw as a wuchong pella there and then. The moment I found out, I would have been like, oh no. Caught. I was gonna smile in their face but leave. There's no way. Not my child. Not my child. Ufuni was scared. She said she was scared. She didn't know what to do. She was confused. So she went and confided in Brian and told him, this is what happened. This was a mistake. This was a one-night stand and I'm pregnant from it. Good for her. Brian then decides we're going to raise this child as our child. I am going to take the responsibility of being the father for this child. Good for him. Then both of them decided they're not going to tell Anthony, but it seems like it was Funi's decision more than Brian's decision. And I don't understand why Brian, who comes across as a good man, who Anthony even said it takes a strong man to raise another man's child, what kind of strength is it where you can look at your friend, you cannot even not Funi's ex that's not in her life anymore, your friend, you look your friend in the eye for 10 years, sharing pictures up of all the way to growing up for 10 years in the group chat, and you don't say a word, you don't feel guilty. It's not eating you up inside that your boy doesn't know you're raising his child. He doesn't know he has a child. Never mind, he doesn't know he has a child. It would have been one thing if he knew and he was like, I want nothing of this, I wash my hands. But you guys know, no. They never gave him the opportunity to decide for himself. No. He was right for saying you can't take him to Australia. He was right. And as a parent, because he never signed over his parental rights, they can't take him. He has to sign. Now that he knows all it is his. I'm glad they were mature enough, adult enough, grown enough to say we'll talk about it. But if that was me, fight, impi, fight right there and then. Right? Oh, right there and then. And speaking of fights, speaking of, alcohol is such a wonderful little poison, a wonderful little concoction. It fuels you, you know? It gives you that energy to express yourself in a way that you would not have expressed yourself without drinking it if you hadn't drank it. Alcohol gives you that energy to just be a little belligerent. And it gave Lerato the energy to be belligerent. It gave her the energy to finally say, I am tired of being a provider in this relationship. And because you, Mxolisi, you have put me in this situation, in this position where I have to provide for you, I do not want to bring a child into this. Not right now. That's why I placed all my hopes and dreams of you. I placed all my hopes and dreams on you going back to playing professional rugby so that I do not have to provide anymore. You do not have to rely on me to make your dreams come true, to reach your goals. I do not have to operate from my masculine anymore. I don't blame her. I don't blame Lerato for taking birth control and hiding it from Mxolisi. I don't blame her at all. He seems selfish. It seems selfish of him to expect her to be the provider when he's there. It seemed selfish of him to want her, and yes, he did expect her to be the provider because he thought the money to start his dream, Little Andao is called Kwa Mxolisi. He thought the money to start his dream, to reach his goal, was coming out of her pockets. When he found out that his friend, not a complete stranger, not Lerato's ex, not her boss, not somebody who's been bowling her on social media, is funding his dream, he got upset. He got upset not because it's his friend who's funding it, but because he thought it's her money. Why was he so comfortable relying on her like that? Relying on her the way a woman is supposed to rely on a man. Why was he so comfortable? I didn't like that. It seemed selfish. And then on top of that, he keeps talking about children. He wants to bring children into the situation. How? When we don't even know if your business is going to be a success or not, you want to bring children into this. You guys are living in a very uncertain time and you want to put more pressure on your wife. No. Being a Korean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. At all. Nothing about that sat right with my spirit. Why? He was playing professional rugby. He played for the Springboks under 21, I think. Yes, so he played for the Springboks under 21. And all that time that he was making all that money, he didn't find ways to invest, or he didn't find ways to create passive income like real estate. He had no plan B. Was he gonna play rugby his whole life? I don't blame her. I would have done the same thing. Everything that, okay, not everything she did, but I would have done the same thing. And then Mxolisi said that marriages are based on lies and secrets. I was like, no, Mhlekazi, speak for yourself. I rebuke that. Fire.
This from someone who's never been married.
I rebuke that. My marriage is not going to be based on... I rebuke it. I rebuke. Another thing that I rebuke is the camera styles. Okay, this movie had two kinds of camera styles. It had your single camera and your multi-camera. The single camera is like The Office or Modern Family or Parks and Recreation, where the camera is this one camera and it's dynamic. It follows everyone around. It zooms in when the people are in when they are where the camera cannot reach them. It zooms in and then it zooms out again. Right? You don't get different angles of the same shot. For a while, it seemed like, let me not say for a while, there are certain shots in this movie that make it seem like it is a single camera type of setup, and then there's other shots where you get multiple cameras. You can see them from the left, from the right, you can see from the top, you can see up their nose, and it was jarring. It was a bit confusing because the single camera, you can tell because it was shaky, you can tell when someone is moving this, it's moving. When Mxolisi and Lerato were having the conversation after Lerato found out that Mxolisi cannot go and play rugby again, the camera stood at a distance. It stood behind that storage thing and then almost zoomed in, and it made it seem like it was a single camera type of thing, like a mockumentary, like Mxolisi was recording, or he was shooting a reality show for how he set up his restaurant. And then within that, where it seemed like the cameraman could not get any closer to them because it was an intimate moment and he didn't want to impose or seem like he's eavesdropping, so he stood back, he kept his distance but still kind of zoomed in. They did that, and then they had multiple shots. Then they had different angles of the same scene, which confused me. I didn't pick a lane. Pick a lane.